What's going on, guys? So today is Saturday, January 23rd, 2020. It was a pretty light week today, this week rather, for my comics, mainly because distributor Diamond just dropped the ball, didn't ship out any of the comics that I was gonna pick up. So at the end of the video, I'll have honorable mentions. But for now, we're gonna go ahead and get to these books. Got the brown bag. First book is Abbott, 1973. Now this book, it is coming after the original series of the same name, just Abbott. It is about Elena Abbott. She is what they call a light bringer. Now I haven't read that previous series. I'm like just getting into this one. Depends on making a TV show off of this, so I'm kind of excited for it because this is pretty interesting. It's kind of like, if you like John Constantine, right, from DC, this is very comparable. I feel like a similar character. It's written by Saladin Ahmed and done by Boom Studios. Saladin Ahmed is also doing Miles Morales, so that's another reason why I picked up the book as well, because I really like his writing in that. So it takes place in Detroit in 1973. There's this Illuminati-esque group that is looking to take out Elena because she is a light bringer. I'm assuming that's something like she's essentially just like, basic protagonist. But yeah, they're essentially just planning on how, like, their plans and scheming to take her out and stuff like that. Now this is the artwork for that whole scene, and I was kind of like, I hope that's not what it looks like the whole time. But then I saw this artwork and I was like, thank God, because that artwork just was not it for me. So she's walking in the park with her girlfriend. I'm gonna do like a quick summary about what's going on. She's walking in the park with her girlfriend, and so they're just reminiscing and thinking about, she's like, I can't sleep. I haven't been able to sleep really good in a long time because of everything that happened in the previous series. And so we fast forward to the next day, and she is at her job. She's a reporter for the Detroit Chronicle. They're just, at this point, they're just talking. The boss shows up, Mr. Manning, and he says that, hey, you guys are all to stay here for the foreseeable future and work overtime. And they're like, what? No, because families, da da da. They're like, wait, I'll pay you overtime pay, don't worry about it. And so she tells Mr. Manning about a letter that, or like a note that she saw on a telephone pole, saying, don't let the spooks take over. Mind you, this is a black newspaper, so obviously, she's gonna look into that, make sure nothing happens. So she goes to the Hall of Records in Detroit, and she meets with Henrietta Jackson, who is, I'm assuming, she runs everything going on there. And so she's asking, like, hey, do you recognize this, and all this stuff like that. So Henrietta goes to look into it. So she goes back to her job, and later on in the evening, and her boss, Mr. Manning, says, you shouldn't be smoking. She's like, what do you mean? Everyone else here smokes. And she's like, yeah, but you're a lady. Ladies don't smoke. And he puts his arms around her on her shoulders, and says that she dresses like masculine, that she start wearing dresses and stuff like that, right? And then he walks out and leaves. Now she's leaving and she's heading home, but she feels someone coming up on her, and it turns out that it is is Henrietta, and Henrietta is like, hey, I'm lost. I need you to, can you help me, get back to where I'm going? She's like, oh yeah, sure, but you look kind of hungry. Let's go grab something to eat. So they grab something to eat. I'm talking about the first black mayor of Detroit. And so they go ahead and they talk a little bit, about how Henrietta was the first Negro woman to graduate from high school, and how she's the first Negro to graduate from her college, and the first Negro and the first woman to become an assistant director. So like she's lived a little bit. So they head out and they're going home, and so she's taking Henrietta back to her car or back to her home, and she says that Henrietta says that the streets used to be safer. She remembers like she used to be able to walk down the streets in the neighborhood and how safe they used to be. And then she goes up and she looks like she's getting ready to attack Elena. I would say, like I said, if you like John Constantine and also like kind of like mystery, crime, stuff like that, you would like this 100%. Also, if you like Studies to Kill the Children, you'll like this as well. So 100% recommend if you like those series. The next book we have is King in Black, issue 3. Love this cover. The detail is amazing. If you guys don't know, Fox bought, or Aliens, how can I say, Disney bought Fox and therefore bought Aliens. So now they have like all these alien covers, and I like this cover a lot because it's kind of funny how he's a god and that's an alien. So I thought that was pretty cool. But this book, I'm not gonna tell you. I'm not gonna spoil anything for you. I'm just gonna read it to you. This is the prologue, and this is like a speech bubble. So like we're not sure who's talking, but whoever's talking obviously is important. It says, "For every darkness there is a light, an opposite, an equal. But now that light is dim, weak. For there has been so much life taken from the universe, as Noah has raised his way across the stars. Billions of souls, entire planets devoid of life, of light. I feel it all, the nothingness, the death, where joy and prayers and laughter once sang in this world, above it all, ringing out my senses like a great siren, a raging, storming sea, is the unbearable sorrow of a single fatherless boy." And then you see Dylan Brock and Eddie Brock, Dylan crying over Eddie Brock because he died, but I'm sure he'll come back. And then it says, surrounded by a roar of death, echoing across the black canyons of a choking world. And then you see Blade and his minions, all these vampires, and Invisible Woman, defending off against these bad guys, these venomized people. And so Reed makes reference to a man named Wraith, who is the opposite of Null, and him and Dylan have the same power, apparently. And that's, I guess, essentially that's the plan. Like, the plan is to use Dylan to take out Null, because he has control over symbiotes in some shape or form. Dylan's pissed. Peter's like, "Hey, do you need a hug?" And Dylan's like, "No, I need to hurt something." You see his eyes just like bleeding with a little spiral in his eyes. It's pretty cool. So now it's Wolverine, Spider-Man, and protecting Dylan, also with the Invisible Woman. And so Dylan's just, casting off all these symbiotes and breaking them from the hive. And so then you hear this. You think you can defeat me, boy? You are nothing compared to us. We will devour this planet, and nothing will stop us. And Dylan says, sorry, Cap. And it's Captain America, Venomized Captain America. He throws a shield at Dylan. So he says, sorry, Cap. I'm gonna need to borrow this. And he catches Captain America's shield. Now, for someone that doesn't really know that much about, Captain America and his strength, he's obviously not on par with like the Incredible Hulk or like the Sentry. However, he's still a stronger than normal human being, and he's a grown man. So like him throwing this full force at Dylan and him being able to catch it is kind of impressive. Not like extreme, not like picking up Thor's hammer impressive, but like just kind of cool. And so Captain America, Venomized Captain America, lunges at Dylan and says, hey, no, I hope you can feel this. And he casts off the Venom symbiote off of Captain America. And Noel, he senses Dylan. He's like, says, I see, finally, there you are, child. And he goes and he attacks Dylan with one of his Venom hands that kind of like comes out of nowhere. And Dylan is scared because he can't cast off or destroy the symbiote. And so he's like scared, and then you just see this thunder crack. Just thunder just go right through the hand. And I thought that it was Thor, or that it was I thought that it was Storm, but Noel says, no, that power familiar, but how, what, who could? And then you just see Thor just pull up like, y'all miss me. He says it's called lightning. You will be well to become accustomed to it, villain. And Thor greets Dylan. He says, you must be Dylan, I'm Thor. How may I be of service? And Dylan says, just protect me, please. And he says, bet, basically, like, all right, like, okay, cool. And then you hear it again. The speech bubble says, for every darkness there is light, an opposite and equal. They battle Thor and the child of Venom. And that's very key. That says the child of Venom. They didn't say the child of Eddie Brock, so that's very interesting. It says, I can feel them as I race near. I can feel them beating the darkness back with every breath in their lungs, knowing that they will fall, that they will lose. And there, lording over it all, is Null, bleeding with every blow dealt by these two warriors of the light. And you see him just cast, like, you see him take symbiotes off of Hulk and other people, stuff like that. And then Noel just shows up, and he's just like, you. Oh, and then the sequel says, and yet. And you see you, Noel says. It says, the Void King rises once more. Thor puts Dylan behind him. Thor says, so you finally decided to show your face and stop hiding. You are the one they call Null, yes. I recall half drunkenly killing one of your pet dragons once. Null says, yes, I remember. But you, little god, you killed one of my children. But you have never faced me, never faced anything like me. I am the god of the void, king of the abyss. Thor says, quiet, I am the last person you will ever impress with your pitiful titles, so you may as well stop now. So, you're a god and a king. Good for you. Because Thor is both those things as well. Thor says, now, allow me to teach you what those words truly mean? And so now they battle. They're like fighting for a couple panels. And so it looks like Noah has the upper hand on Thor. And Dylan tries to go and attack Noah, but Noah just swats him away. And now it looks like Dylan's about to get taken over by the symbiotes, or taken by the symbiotes. And so Thor kicks off Noah and says, and Noah says, "Don't you see? This world is mine. You cannot stop me." Thor says, "Nay, Midgard is under my protection, as are all the realms of this world. Ash, I have killed hundreds like you. All of them claim to be the one true death, the living void, the end. To that I say, I am King Thor Odinson, god of lightning and thunder, and protector of every realm in this galaxy. And I say, when it ends," and he says, "and I have had enough," and hits Noah upside the head with his hammer, or his jaw rather, with his hammer, and breaks off his jaw. And Noah says, your world would burn for that." And Noah summons All Black, the Necro Sword, and says, everyone will burn. And then stabs Thor in the chest with the All Black. It says, "And you will watch. You will know the pain. You know the pain of the All Black, don't you? Well, now you've had the honor of being killed by its creator." And Reed Richards at this point is stressed out because they just took out Thor. And Noah just took out Thor. Iron Man pulls up and says, "You remember that Extremis infected symbiote I got a hold of? Well, since the kid freed it from its hive, because he cast it off of Eddie Brock at the end of King of Black issue 2, pretty sure, he says, we've been getting along a little better." And he says that because it's not a dragon, he says, and Reed says, "I still don't understand, so you have a dragon, I don't." He says, "That's because it's not a dragon. It's wherever I want it to be. However, I'm gonna beat 2 Sentinels." He says, "So how am I gonna beat 2 Sentinels?" He says, "I'm not. I'm gonna use this dragon to override one of them and make it my new favorite armor. And then, well, Mr. Fantastic, you ever play Rock'em Sock'em Robots?" And you just see him take control of a whole. This is him. He takes control of a whole celestial. Now, Noah is right. He is a being from before the Marvel universe, right? So he is, as we know it. So he is. So the fact that he can take over a celestial is a big deal, but not as big a deal as we think it is, because he's killed one before, which became the head of Nowhere. I wonder if they're gonna do that in the movie. That'd be interesting if they did. But the fact that Iron Man can take control of a dragon and inadvertently take control of a celestial is kind of a big deal. I wonder if they're gonna be upset about that. Who knows? And then the speech bubble says, again, "For every darkness there is a light, an opposite, and equal." And Noah says, "I am the only family you have now," to Dylan. "Come with me, let us talk, my son." And for me, that was very much like a Star Wars-esque, saying. I thought that was pretty interesting. And Dylan says, "No, of course." And you see a speech bubble says, "There is another, an opposite of Noah, a god of light, the source of Dylan's power." And Thor sends his ravens, the ravens of Odin, now ravens of Thor, they're like messengers essentially. He says, "Swiftly find him rather." But while Noah's dome still stands, it cannot break through, but I can. And then it says, "And I am on my way, and it's Silver Surfer Black, which is amazing. I think I might cover Silver Surfer Black and maybe in a trade. I might get the trade next week. We'll see. But this issue was let me say something. Donny Cates just knows how to, like, he just knows how to write a story. Like, with him writing Crossover and King of Black and Thor, and he wrote, I think he wrote American Gods as well. Like all that stuff is super good. Really, really, really spot on. Like, he just knows how to write a story. So that's King of Black. Now, I think I don't know if I'm gonna be able to hold this, but I'm gonna try and get once a week a new Miles comic to my collection. So I kind of suppose what my next book is. It is Spider-Man #1 by Brian Michael Bendis, the creator of Spider-Man Miles Morales. And it's his third solo series. Cost me about, I mean, the book costs, I mean, if I'm gonna be real with you, on eBay this book costs like $12, but I'm not a patient person, unfortunately. So I went to my comic book shop. My comic book shop luckily has these things called back issue bucks, and you can, I think I talked about this before, and you can go ahead and every time you come in and get your if you're a member or have like the have like a membership card, right? Every time you come and get your pull list, right, for your books, they give you, like, depending on how many books you get, you might get a $2 one or a $1 one or a $5 one or what have you, and then you can save those up and you can go ahead and pay for one of these books. What I didn't want to do though was wait and get the full 30 and then someone goes ahead and just buys the book. So I went ahead and just gave them, like, I think I had like 17 back issue bucks worth of their currency, and I think I just paid like, and then I got King of Black as well, and I think I paid like 20 something bucks for this, for everything, which is a good deal compared to I could have paid like 35 or 40 bucks or whatever. I read it. Okay, I read it. It's good. Now I want to get the rest of the series. So that's kind of the issue with doing these kind of things, is because, like, it's like, especially like, imagine being a Batman collector, right? And that's why I'm getting into Miles, because one, he's my favorite character, and two, he's super easy to get into when it comes to collecting because he hasn't been around for that long, right? Imagine trying to collect Superman and Batman, right? Characters have been around for about, I don't know, almost 100 years. Like, either like getting Action Comics #1 at all, impossible. Getting Detective Comics #1, impossible. So, and then there's like so many reboots and like different iterations of the character, first appearances, stuff like that. Miles Morales is one of those characters that he hasn't been around for that long, and so he doesn't have like a lot of movies. He has literally like one movie. So he's a really new character, a very popular character. However, there's not a lot of lore to him, right? Like there will be with Spider-Man, the Fantastic Four, Batman, these legacy characters. So, and this is the second printing. I'm gonna get the first printing. That one's a little bit more expensive than this one, but the second printing costs like $12 on eBay. But like I said, I'm not a patient person, and my worry with eBay is that I'm gonna get scammed and then they're just gonna take my money. But at the same time, I could write for a refund. So, but yeah, good book. You see Blackheart. If you remember, Blackheart was the guy from that Ghost Rider movie with Nick Cage. Yeah, I would say this is probably, and he's just like, it seems like just a vague rundown. He's in school, had a date with a girl, was late because Spider-Man, and then he goes to class, hears police sirens, And so he's like, hey, Teach, I gotta go. And so he goes, and he starts saving people. People are like, hey, don't worry about it. You know, we'll take care of getting people to safety. And he's like, okay, cool. And so he goes, and all the Avengers at this time, Falcon was Captain America, and Jane Foster was Thor. And so they go up against Blackheart, and they all fall. But he somehow or another gets the upper hand on Blackheart, and Captain America's like, you know, what have you done? Or not Captain America, Spider-Man. After the battle's over, Spider-Man is like, you know, what did you do? And then like he's like, what? And then like you see him like in his in a new outfit. At least for this, it was new for me. I had never seen it before. I don't really follow Spider-Man like that. I really just follow Miles and like all his variant covers. But then he says like, you know, what did you do? And you don't know what he's talking about. But we'll see. Like I said, if I could find issue 2, that'd be great. Now for honorable mentions, got my little notebook right here. Honorable mentions, we have Avengers 41. The Black Panther cover looks amazing, super cool. I'm gonna pick it up when it gets here. Cable number 7. He has to take care of another baby. He took care of Hope Summers for a long time. At least the original iteration of him took care of Hope Summers for a long time. So now we're seeing that. We taking care of a new baby, apparently. New Mutants number 15. Last one we watched. They had just met. A group of kids that just met. What's that guy's name? I can't remember his name now. But he's an enemy of Charles Xavier / the X-Men. Can't remember his name. And then we only find them when they're dead. I'm really excited for that one. I hope that starts to pick up a little bit more. It's still a good series. I just hope that issue 5 is a lot better than is where it starts to pick up. And then next week we have a pull list for then. I'm gonna be uploading that probably tomorrow or Monday. So you know, like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification to make sure that you stay tuned for that. Next week, I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna cover those Avengers, the Avengers book. Either A, I might cover them and then not cover my pull list for that week, and then just do it next week. But then we run into the thing where it's like so on and so forth. Or I might just not cover them at all, and or I might just do like a quick, like, you know, I might do it, start uploading to TikTok. So I might do like a little TikTok about those books, just a quick little summary about them. But yeah, that is basically it for this week, and I will catch you guys later. Peace.